Alright YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is May 15th. Happy Monday to everyone out there. We got a decent sized MLB slate to jump into today. We're going to go through each and every game. I'll talk about the game. I'll give you my lean or leans on the games, but all my final plays will be in the pinned comment. If we seem kind of rushed through this video, it is because we recorded an entire 20 plus minute video of this slate already, and then all of a sudden as I go to upload it was saying the file was corrupt. So happy Monday to you guys, not so happy Monday to me, but we'll go round two at this. I just wanted you guys to know if we are kind of rushing through this, we're on a time crunch now given the time of the morning. So yeah, just FYI. But guys, in terms of yesterday, in terms of our final plays, we're coming off of finally, after a couple losing nights, we're looking at a winning, positive night. We had the Guardians money line early. They come through. The Braves lose by 1 run, but we'll take it. It's all right. They were an even play over on FanDuel. Could have been a sweep, though, if they kind of just get their stuff together. And then our last win there was Diamondbacks money line for plus 120. Decent night overall. I was looking for the little sweep there, but the Braves let us down. But nonetheless, a 2-1 night with a decent sized underdog hit there. I will take that any day of the week. And before we jump into the games, I do want to talk to you guys about Outlier becoming my favorite sports betting research tool, and I'm going to show you in like 10 seconds why, guys. But make sure to use that link in the description or the pinned comment. You get a 7-day free trial. It is time to start betting on sports, or at least researching your sports picks better, guys. Head over to Outlier and check it out. So this is what we have over on Outlier, and it is really cool. This is the game tab, obviously, so both NBA and all the sports that are going on right now, you can see what teams are trending in which direction and where the money is and where the percent of bets are. So say, for example, we like Washington on the money line today. We can add that to our picks. It's going to show up over here. Let's get rid of that because that was from last time we recorded this. So it'll show up in our picks tab over here. And then if you wanted to go in here and we wanted to look at the props, these are all of the player props that are offered from FanDuel, MGM, Caesars, and DraftKings. So say we liked Nick Pratto's under in strikeouts, right? We can add that to our picks, or we could click in and actually check it out and say, okay, yeah, he's actually trending in that direction. He's only struck out more than one time in one of his last 10 games here. Let's lock that in over on DraftKings. We can click it, and guys, in one click of the button, it is going to add that to your bet slip. You don't have to go find the player prop or anything like that. You can also do it from your picks tab too. So if you wanted to click here, add 2 bets to DraftKings, it's going to open it up. I'm not touching anything or finding these plays, and it throws them right in, and you guys can add them in. So definitely go check out Outlier, guys. It is well worth it in my opinion, and use that link in the description or the pinned comment. Again, 7-day free trial. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button as we get ready to jump into today's slate. We're starting it off with Washington taking on the Mets. And again, second time we're talking about this game. That's frustrating for me. First time for you guys hearing about it, so I'm not going to let it affect me here. But Washington is a big time underdog here, plus 140. Catching the loss yesterday, the Mets actually looked alive for one of the first times in a while as they win that one 8-2. On the mound here for the Nationals is Corbin, 1-5 with a 4.87 ERA, but he's been pitching all right, I would say, in his last 3 starts or so, only letting up 3, 2, and 2 earned runs through 5 1/3, 7, and 6 innings pitched. So I do think, his record isn't really indicating on how decent he's been pitching. Then David Peterson, who's had a rough year thus far, 1-5 with a 7.68 ERA. It might be a little crazy. It might not be the best thing to do in terms of, what Vegas is thinking is going to happen, because plus 140, right? But I am going to lean towards the Washington Nationals here on the money line at plus 130, plus 135 on DraftKings. I'm seeing more updated now, but plus 140 in the graphic here. But you're probably going to get more or less around plus 135. Then we're looking at a total of 9.5 runs. I like the over here if New York can kind of bring what they brought to the table again today, what they brought yesterday. So I like the over ever so slightly, but my biggest lean here is going to be that Nationals money line. I think it's a good spot for them and some value in that pick. Next game up is going to be Baltimore taking on the Los Angeles Angels here. And Baltimore, though they could be favorites in this game, they are not, obviously due to the fact that Shohei Ohtani is on the mound for the Angels. He's 4-1 with a 2.74 ERA. Grayson Rodriguez, who has been serviceable for the Orioles, 2-0 with a 5.08 ERA. Nothing like Ohtani has been, but I think the value here is going to be on the Baltimore side of things. Now, if you are just a Ohtani, rider, and you ride with him no matter what, and obviously, for right reasons, I guess, I don't hate that at all. I could kind of see your point point, but I would challenge everyone, and I've been saying it in the last 2 or 3 videos, that I do think that this Angels team is becoming slightly overrated. Not saying they come into the games as huge favorites or anything like that, right? But I'm looking at these teams, and it's like when they played a team like Cleveland was underdogs in 2 of those games. Now, the Angels won 2 of those 3 games, so maybe I'm the dummy here in the room, but this Angels team, I want to make sure we're looking at the odds, making sure we're, 1, getting all the best odds possible, and 2, just making sure that the odds kind of are valuable to what we're doing as a final play, instead of just being like, oh, Angels are going to win no matter what the money line odds are, right? So I think the value here is going to be on Baltimore. They've played decent. I don't hate them on the run line either. They've covered that when underdogs 8 of their last 10 games here. This might be one that we stick away from altogether, just because, again, sort of the elephant in the room is we're picking against Ohtani, which isn't always the right move, right? But I do still think that I'm not willing to pay minus 130 for the Angels on the money line, so I'm kind of process of elimination looking at the Orioles here. Then we have a total of 8 runs. This Baltimore team, whose offense was looking good at the beginning of the year, has kind of cooled off here, and the Angels, they're kind of inconsistent, so I'm going to lean slightly towards the under. I wish this was 8.5 or 9. It is at 8, so it kind of scares me, but I'm leaning slightly towards the under. All right, the graphic is not updated with the odds or the total yet, but we have Toronto taking on New York. We do have odds. Toronto right now, about minus 150 on sportsbooks here. Total sitting at 9.5 runs. And though this Toronto team is heavy favorites, I think they deserve it. So I'm going to lean towards Toronto and the over in this one. I've been telling you guys for a little while now, I think this Toronto team is going to find their stride. I didn't necessarily think it was going to be against a good team in the Braves, sweeping them in their last series, but nonetheless, I think they're starting to get to that point, and that's what baseball is all about, seeing when a team's about to hit their stride, and then when they're about to lose their stride too, being able to fade them here. But the Yankees, they played well against Tampa Bay. They won 2 of the 3 games against, the best team in the league right now, so I gotta give props there. But Manoah on the mound, even though he's 1-3 in the season, I do want to give him, I guess I'm gonna back him a little bit, because I really don't like Johnny Brito on the mound for the Yankees here. Brito, though I think he's had a decent couple games in a row. I don't have the numbers up in front of me. Manoah's in the same exact ballpark. He's only allowed about 2.2 runs in his last 3 starts in terms of what he's doing, but he's got to go the distance. Both these pitchers, neither one of them pitch late into games. It's all going to come down to bullpen, and that's where I think the offense of Toronto ends up popping off. So I'm going to lean towards the Toronto Blue Jays in this one. And then in terms of a total, like I said, it's at 9.5. I think that's a really, really good line. I'm going to slightly lean towards the over, but I don't love it altogether. So my big play here is going to be Toronto money line. I just wish we weren't paying minus 150. So when this comes out on more sports books, obviously it's a new line. I do want to see where that ends up, and then keep an eye on the pinned comment to see if that ultimately is a final play. All right, we're looking at the Red Sox taking on Seattle. The Red Sox in a little bit of a slide here. They've lost 5 of their last 6 games. Seattle, they're kind of up and down. They're, in terms of a series, too, they're looking at a good series, a bad series, a good series, a bad series. Well, they're coming off of a good series against the Tigers. They win 2 of 3, which I don't know how much weight you want to put into that. It was against a Tigers team that was actually playing decent baseball as of late. Boston coming off of a sweep against coming off of being swept. Let me clarify there. Coming off of being swept against the Cardinals. Houck on the mound for the Red Sox, 3-2 with a 5.26 ERA. Kirby on the mound for the Mariners, 2.62 ERA, 4-2. He's looked good in his last start, but I don't want to put too much weight into that. He pitched 0 earned runs over 7 innings with 9 strikeouts. He's won 2 games in a row, but I do still think this is a good spot for the Red Sox. This Seattle team, like I said, good series, bad series, and they had a good series most recently against Detroit, and the Red Sox are looking to get out of a slump, right? So if this Seattle team follows their trend and kind of regresses into a bad-ish series, I think the Red Sox can catch them here. At plus 110 odds, I think there's value there as well. 9.5 runs is the total. I don't know if I've seen enough out of these offenses as of late to be able to confidently lean towards the over, but that being said, if things return to norm and they get back to sort of their flat line, I do think that this is an over type of game. So call me crazy. I don't think that, I'm looking at Kirby saying, okay, you're going to pitch 7 scoreless innings against this Red Sox offense. I don't think so. So I'm going to lean towards the over in this one as well. All right, next up we have St. Louis, who I just talked about sweeping the Red Sox, taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. Brewers coming off of a sweeping series against Kansas City. Pitching on the mound for the Cardinals today is going to be Jack Flaherty. He's 2-4 with a 6.18 ERA. And then Freddie Peralta's on the mound for the Brewers. He's 4-2 with a 3.32 ERA, and he's looked good in his last 3 starts. He's got 2 wins in the last 3 starts. He's pitched 6 innings in all of those, allowing 2 runs 2 runs and 1 run, and he's had 8 and 10 strikeouts in 2 of those starts. I think he gets to the St. Louis offense today and deals, and you're getting minus 108 odds right now. They're barely favored in this game, so I really do like Milwaukee in this one. I don't necessarily love him on the run line, but if you do want to go for the big hit, it's about plus 158 on sportsbooks as of right now for minus 1.5. So by all means, you do you. But I think the Brewers come out pretty big today and win this one. So I'm going to lean towards the over 8 as well. The line has moved down just a little bit. I think there's a good spot there. I think the Brewers are going to put up like 5-6 runs, meaning all the Cardinals have to do is kind of come to play. But Peralta is on the mound again, and he's been dealing. So I like the Brewers money line in this one. I don't necessarily hate St. Louis on the run line if you want plus 1.5. They've covered that in 8 of their last 10 when underdogs, and they've covered it in 8 of their last 9. So that 10th game, that's the most recent to fall off, right? That was a loss. So 8 of their last 9, they have actually covered that plus 1.5 in, but Brewers is going to be my main lean in this one. All right, guys, before we get into the next game, I want to talk to you guys about potentially becoming a channel member, or a baller is what we call them on the channel here. $2.99 a month. You can buy like 10 Starbucks drinks with that. But guys, what it is, it's first and foremost supporting the channel. It's a great way to support the channel. But what we really do, and what I love to give back, is we love doing analytical betting and building models and whatnot, right? And if you haven't seen that, we've done free videos on the channel about building sort of simple sports betting models as well. But if you are a baller, you're getting an NBA spread, total, and points, rebounds, and assists player prop model every single weekday, guaranteed, sometimes on weekends as well. You're also getting a newly built MLB model, which is run line, money line, and total as well, guys. You're getting a new Google Sheets link in the community tab of the channel every single weekday if you do choose to become a baller. A lot of sites charge you like $100 or more per month for their models and their projections and everything like that, right? One, I give it to you guys for $2.99 a month, right? 2, we have a 7-part series on the channel about how to build and how to tinker an NBA model, and I want to bring something like that to members as well for the MLB season. So make sure to become a baller today. Again, $2.99 a month. If you're going to do it just for the models, save it, guys. I do want you guys to think you are truly supporting the channel and becoming part of something as we grow. So that probably hurts sales in my mind, you know what I mean? But I do want you guys to know that first and foremost, you're going with that $2.99 a month out of your pocket to support me and what we do here. But then secondarily, that's where I'm like, all right, I gotta give you guys something that's worth it. And this is definitely hell of a lot worth it. So make sure to become a baller today, guys. Join button next to the subscribe button. You gotta be subscribed first. So hit that join button, or you guys can use the link in the description and become a baller there as well. But let's go ahead and jump into this next game, which I do think is going to be a good game, good series. Whenever these two teams play each other, we have the Braves taking on the Rangers here. Now, we don't have an updated line on the graphics, but now, since we've now secondarily, had to record this 2 times, we actually do. We have Texas on the money line at plus 105, total sitting at 9 runs. This Atlanta team shockingly getting swept. Now, I told you guys Toronto's probably going to start heating up. We still bet the Braves in just about every damn near one of those games in that series, so we caught a few L's there. Texas coming off of taking 3 of 4 against Oakland. They did their job. I like the Braves in this one to bounce back. I could see this going back and forth though. So this is one of those games where, if you are on Texas, I'm not going to tell you you're crazy, but I think you're getting some decent value on the Braves here on the money line at minus 115. Morton on the mound for them. Dunning, who's pitching really well for the Texas Rangers here, he is on the mound, but I'm going to trust Morton, the more experienced pitcher as well. Then we're looking at a total of 9 runs, which is seemingly a good number, but this is a tough one because this Texas team can score a bunch of runs. So can the Braves, but the Braves have been a little inconsistent as of late, so I'm going to stick away from this total. I hate to do that to you guys, but I could see this being like a 5-4 game or an 8-1 game, like a crazy sort of game that ends up with a lot of runs scored on one side or both sides and still ends up at 9 runs. So if I can't even pick a side of this, I'm not going to fake one for the video. All right, guys, we got the Astros taking on the Cubs. Valdez on the mound for the Astros, 2.38 ERA. Talon on the mound, which I don't like for the Cubs, 5.95 ERA. And this is the crazy thing, guys. We're sounding the psycho alert alarm because I'm leaning Chicago on the money line. Plus 165 right now over on DraftKings. And why am I doing that? Well, I don't think Houston, even though they get the pitching, the better pitcher out there today, I don't think that they should be minus 190 favorites on the money line. This Chicago team has gotten pumped 2 games in a row, 11-1 and 16-3. Is it crazy for me to be like, they have to come in being like, we can't let that happen again? You know what I mean? And this Houston team, it's not like they're this incredible championship caliber team as of right now. Yes, they've won 4 of their last 5, and I do give them credit for winning 4 of their last 5. But at the same exact time, it's like this Cubs team isn't as bad. Like this would be the same equivalent type of thing if you had they were playing Oakland, you know what I mean, and they were plus 165 here against the Astros. You're telling me that the Cubs deserve to be that bad of favorites? I don't think so. I think that this is just a Vegas. I think that might be opposite. I'm kind of fading what they think. I think they're trying to deter people from taking the Cubs with this line, to be completely honest, because what person's going to look at this normally and be like, minus 165, yeah, let's jump on that. I don't see anywhere in the numbers where this should be that big of a difference here. Now, can the Astros win this game? No kidding. Like, I'm not saying whoever set this line is an idiot, but plus 165 is a crazy, crazy bump there and worth taking that shot on, because Houston, I can 100% say as a fact, shouldn't be minus 190 on the money line in this game. I don't believe that whatsoever. So why not look at the other side of things and look at Chicago? I wish they had a better pitcher on the mound. I wish they didn't just lose 2 games by a combined 400 million runs, but I still like Chicago on this. I sounded the psycho alert alarm. I don't expect you to agree with me, but that's what we're doing. Then we have a total of 7.5 runs. I think the Chicago team continues to let up a decent amount of runs defensively, and hopefully they can get back to scoring some runs themselves. So I'm going to lean towards the over as well. All right, next game up, you have Colorado taking on Cincinnati. I don't even really want to spend that much time on this game. I like Colorado on the run line, plus 1.5, minus 140 odds on DK right now. They've covered it in 7 of their last 10. And when Cincinnati wins, if they win, they don't do it by 2 runs. They've only done that as favorites in 7 of their last 10 here when coming into a game as a favorite. And then in terms of total, you guys know I love hammering the unders for these Colorado in Colorado games here. So I'm gonna look at the under as well. But again, I'm not very excited for this game, this series, anytime these 2 teams play each other, to be completely honest. In another series, I hate to do it, that isn't all that exciting. We have the Diamondbacks taking on Oakland. And my only lean here is going to be Diamondbacks money line in some sort of a parlay. They're about minus 205 on DraftKings right now, which is a little crazy. I don't love them on the run line either, because we've actually seen this Oakland team, though they don't have really the track record to prove it, at any given moment, they can put up a decent amount of runs and keep a game close. So this is not worth a single bet to me. Maybe just a throw in a parlay. But in terms of what I actually would lean in this game is looking at the over 9 runs. But that's just about it. That's about as far as my liking towards this game would go. So hate to give you guys 2 games in a row that I don't really like, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Next up, we have San Diego taking on Kansas City. San Diego, obviously major favorite in this one, minus 210. So I'm not looking at a side of things here, but I really do like, and it does tickle my fancy here, looking at the under 9 runs. San Diego has not had many games as of late that result in 9 runs as a total. In fact, they haven't had any games within their last 10 games where they get to that mark with their opposition. Even their most recent series, they lose 4-2, 4-2, and they lose 4-0, getting swept by the Dodgers there. And then Kansas City, they're not putting up the offensive production they necessarily need. Now, they did score 6 runs in their last game against Milwaukee, but prior to that, 3 runs, run, 4 runs, and then they'll have these spikes of 9 runs, but go right back down to 2 runs. So I'm looking at 2 inconsistent teams as of right now. I think this Padres team wins the game, but those odds are way too much for me to throw in. Similar to Diamondbacks, I guess we're looking at that in any sort of parlay if you do want, but I like the under in this game. That is definitely something that could be a final play. Keep an eye on the pinned comment. All right, next game, we have San Francisco taking on Philadelphia. On the mound for the Giants is Alex Wood, 2.45 ERA. He has no decisions yet this season. He's been pitching well in his last few games here. Only a couple earned runs. I think he only pitched a few innings to start each game, but still not allowing many runs through those innings. Striking out a decent amount as well. But I don't really trust the wonkiness over there. I'm going to look at the Philly side of things. They might have a terrible spot here with Faulkner on the mound. He's 0-6. With a 5.75 ERA. I kind of understand what I'm doing here, but I'm hoping that they can score a decent amount of runs late in this game, which has been a little bit of San Francisco's issue thus far. So I like the Phillies for plus money. Do I love the Phillies for plus money? No, but I do think this is a decent spot for them. I think the value is on their side because this San Francisco team, it's funny that the Phillies are even money, right? Then San Francisco is only minus 115, so something's fishy's going on there. I don't hate Phillies plus 1.5 either, but you're not going to get very good odds on that. I don't have an updated line right here, but I do like Phillies in this game if you do want to take another sort of not shot in the dark, but another underdog type play. I think the Phillies could have a chance today. 8.5 runs is the total. Like I said, I think Phillies are going to go out there and score a decent amount of runs, but let up a decent amount of runs as well. So I'm going to look at the over there as well. All right, our final game of the slate, we have Minnesota taking on the Dodgers. We already talked about the Dodgers coming off of a really good series against their rival, the Padres. They sweep them 4-2, 4-2, then 4-2, nothing. And then we have Minnesota who, they lose game 1 of that series. You're like, okay, maybe Chicago has something here, right? Wrong. They come back and win 11-1, and then they win 16-13. Like I said, do the math. They won both those games by a combined 400 million runs here. In this one, though, the Dodgers are -115 at home, and on the mound for them today, or tonight, I should say, is going to be Noah Syndergaard. He's 1-3 with a 6.12 ERA. His last start, 1 inning pitch, 0 earned runs. I mean, you're not really looking to get much out of him today. Not anything whatsoever. You do have Pablo Lopez on the side of Minnesota here, who's been pitching past 6 innings and letting up a decent low amount of earned runs here. Last 2, he's averaging 1.5 in terms of earned runs, and he's striking out a bunch of hitters as well. So it does make me slightly lean towards the Twins in this one. It kind of pains me to do it because we've been making money off the Dodgers as of late, and this is a good spot for them, -115. But I think I got to get proved that I can bet on Syndergaard, you know what I mean, before I end up doing that. So I'm going to roll with Lopez, who's having a decent year here, definitely trending on the up, and that's some plus money, 104 over on FanDuel, guys. Then in terms of a total 8.5 runs, I do think this one gets up and over. I think the Dodgers are going to score 3 to 4 runs, and then hopefully if everything goes accordingly like I want, then we're going to look at the Twins scoring 5-6 runs, which is right around that 8.5 mark and slightly leaning towards the over. Guys, that is all I have for you guys to say. If you did like the video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We did have to record it twice, which is so annoying, but yeah, hope you guys do enjoy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.